on the front porch, just killing time, talking about life with a sip of moonshine. Decoy's the host, he sets the scene with a crew of voices. The porch ain't serene. Pull up a chair, let the story spin. From BB to Boogie, let the jokes begin. Timmy's laughing, Tater grins wide, and poor old Paulie, he's the butt of the ride. Nick's got tales that'll make you wanna stay. Ace plays it cool in that laid-back way. The breeze rolls in with a Tennessee tune as the stars peek out by the light of the moon. It's a circle of voices, a homegrown vibe. No need to hustle, just take it in stride. Paulie gets roasted, but it's all in jest. This porch crew's better than all the rest. Pull up a chair, let the story spin. From BB to Boogie, let the jokes begin. Timmy's laughing, Tater grins wide, and poor old Paulie, he's the butt of the ride. Crickets join in with a soft tambourine. The sound of the sticks is pure and serene. Decoy keeps the peace when the teasing gets thick. But look out now, here comes more from Nick. Pull up a chair, let the story spin. From BB to Boogie, let the jokes begin. Timmy's laughing, Tater grins wide, and poor old Paulie, he's the butt of the ride.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Front Porch. I am your host, Decoy, and don't really have a lot going on this week, other than we have a new pope, and completely out from left field, kind of blew everybody away. I think from America. The Americas, United States to be more exact. Well, he born in Chicago, kind of grew up in the area, but he moved off to um, another country and did all of his work and everything there. So he's dual citizenship, but it's good because it, he's going to kind of follow, I think, in Francis's footsteps, but he's also going to try to take on Leo's footsteps also. So kind of get a really good understanding from what's going on from him. Our title this week is Mayflies, June Bugs, and Other Creepy Crawlers. I kind of did a quick glance out there and didn't really see any other news articles that really sparked my interest. But the old saying, April showers bring Mayflowers, and what do Mayflowers bring? June bugs. No, you thought I was gonna say pilgrims, didn't you? But yeah, it's getting in to be insect season again, so I thought I'd kind of bring that up a little bit. Kind of talking about, we haven't really started seeing any of our June bugs yet. I haven't seen any of our fuzzy bumblebees. I say fuzzy because we have two different bees that really hang out around us. We have the actual bumblebee that's a pollen gatherer, um, and then we also have the carpenter bees. And every time I turn around, it's like the exterminators want to get rid of my carpenter bees. So I tell them, no, leave the bees alone. Uh, I don't mind carpenter bees or bumblebees. Bumblebees are really great pollinators. We grow a little bit of Russian sage, and it seems to attract the bumblebees. Uh, but I haven't seen any this year, nor has my Russian sage actually started blooming. I went to one of the local restaurants, and they had a lot of the Russian sage, and it was like blooming real violet and everything else. And but I have not yet seen that. But we're just now starting to get into the warmer weather to where we're seeing the carpenter bees more on a daily basis. So hopefully the fuzzy bumblebees will be making their appearance shortly. Uh, Outside of that, I really haven't seen a lot of any of the other flying creatures. I've seen maybe one or two mud daubers, but I really haven't seen a lot of wasps or any hornets yet. So hopefully they'll stay away and leave everything alone because those are the ones I do not like. Uh, but I have noticed that we've had seen a little bit of an uptick in mosquito activity. Uh, Normally mosquitoes don't bother me. I mean, I can be, the test guinea pig for, off, I can just be the control subject because they normally don't bite or anything. But this year they've seemed to really been going after me, and I don't know why. But we will find out of later on, how many battle scars and everything else I get from the scratching. And so I haven't really seen a lot of mayflies this year, also, which is a rarity because I kind of live in a peninsula. So I've got like river on one side, and I have a big giant bay on the other. Uh, but so we get a lot of the aquatical type insects and everything else, but I have not seen any mayflies this year. Uh, Started seeing some beetles. Uh, so the beetles are starting to come out. I have not yet seen any butterflies, but I still think it's way too early in the season for those. Those normally come out about midsummer, and we get quite a few different types, but we also have large moths up here too, and they almost look like a butterfly. We have one that looks like a yellow fish when it's actually with all of its wings together and everything. It's a beautiful one. I did notice that, like on the iPhones and everything, that they now actually have uh, uh, identification of bugs, which is actually kind of cool. 1 minute, let me get my chat down here so I can see what it's saying. My bifocals don't want to work today. Hey, yeah, you can go ahead and come on in if you want, Polly and or Nick. The front porch is always open to any host and member of the squad. All you have to do is just, drop on in. Don't even have to go to the waiting room. Just come on in. And that goes for any other host out there too. If you just want to join in, be my guest, come on in. Somebody just joined.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, it's Nick. Okay. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Okay,
Hey,
there
Corey,
it
how you doing?
goes. Not too bad, not too bad. Been a pretty quiet week in the news and everything, so I figured I'd kind of talk about some of the spring insects.
Yeah, I saw you talking about the butterflies and beetles and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen any butterflies or moths yet, but it's still way too early in our season for those. They'll start coming out about midsummer, but the beetles have started to come out, and I haven't seen my fuzzy bumblebees yet, and I've been waiting for them to make their appearance
Yeah.
because that's when I know it's. When I start seeing them, I know it's going to be especially late at night or early in the morning. I know it's going to be a warm day because they don't come out unless it's at least 70 degrees.
Yeah, there's a one insect I'm not looking forward to. You can probably guess which one it is.
Which one again?
The cicadas.
Oh, cicadas. Are you in a broad cicada cycle this year, or do you know?
Uh, my area of Ohio.
Uh oh, we just lost Nick. Give him a minute. He might be right back.
Hello.
June bugs. Hey, okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, there you
My
are.
di- okay.
Um,
My Discord decided to go off on me.
I know that
Yeah.
feeling.
So my area of Ohio gets them bad pretty much every year.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I know that like every 17 years they have what they call a broad cycle, and so
yeah.
you can get like really really bad. Um, we actually live in an area that we do not have a broad cycle of cicadas. Our cicadas are probably um, moderate every year. So yours might be this. You might kind of be in the same area where you're actually between two different broad cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Hemi, if you want, come on in. The water's warm. Polly, June bugs have been out there. I haven't seen any, but then again, we don't really see June bugs until mid June around here. Not like it is out there in the Great Plains. Um, that brings me up to the story. I was driving back from here out to Oklahoma and everything, and it was late June, almost July, and we stopped at this who knows where out in the middle of BFE, and we could not get out of the car because the June bugs were so bad. As soon as the car pulled into the gas station and it got illuminated by the lights, the car was just covered in June bugs. And I said,
Oh.
hell no.
Yeah. I would have stayed in the car.
Yeah. I only had that happen one other time, and that was going to over to Ocean City. We took the long way for some odd reason because that's the way Waze did it, and it took us all the way up into Delaware, and we pulled off to do environmentals and everything else. And as soon as we did, the June bugs started literally coming out because it was right at sundown, and we couldn't get back into the car fast enough. Yes, there is a lot of BFE out there. You have to tell people to go to the pyramids and turn right or left out there because you're really a BFE. Um, yeah, Oklahoma is like really, really, like a ton of June bugs out there, and it's crazy. Um, yeah, ticks. Yep, it's going to be tick season too. You're right, Hammy. Um, especially if you live out in high weeds and like wooded areas and everything else. We keep ours cut really really low, but the mosquitoes that I try to sit outside before here on the front porch, believe it or not, and I was literally getting eaten alive, and it's like, nope, okay, let's go back in.
Yeah. Hang on. I gotta. You keep saying June bug,
Hmm.
but I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the heck that is.
It's like a little brown beetle.
Okay.
Oh, flashbang.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what the actual true name of the actual insect is. I mean, always growing up, we called them, June bugs, kind of like those little tiny armadillo bugs. So we always call them roly polies because you just touch them and they roll into a ball and everything else, and they have like 1,000 little feet on them. But yeah, it's things I remember from my childhood of calling them. It's like of course everybody had ladybugs, but I've never seen a brown ladybug until I moved out here, and
Oh yeah.
because we don't have red ones, we have brown ones. It's like, really? Okay, did this one just sit in the sun too long or what?
Yeah, in Ohio, like I was saying before, we get you don't see many like what you just talked about, June bugs in Ohio, at least not in my area. I haven't noticed them. But cicadas, every year they're bad by me.
Hmm.
Like you can't go anywhere without pulling one off your shirt.
Oh,
Like
see, we don't have them that bad. Uh, we have. I mean, every summer I'll have at least 4 or 5 dead ones on my front porch because the cicada killers will come and kill them, but leave them. It's like I thought they were supposed to take them back to their nest and feed and put their young inside them and let them eat them out and all that, for their nutrients and everything. But nope, I'll have like I think I actually still have one on my front porch from last year. It's dead.
but
To me, June bugs look like the scrabs from the movie The Mummy. The movie with the mummy from The Rock or the other one? 'Cause wasn't The Rock in the Mummy?
I don't know. I've never seen the mummy.
Well, there's a 2019 version and a 2017 version. And The Mummy Returns came out in 2001. Yeah, The Rock. Okay, so that'd be 2017, right? Would that no, that's Tom Cruise. So it'd have to be the 99 version, maybe. Let's see. Or maybe it was the 2017 one. There's too many versions.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's one from
Well,
1999.
yeah. Let me just try the Rock. Yeah, 99 was the Rock version. Okay. Yeah, because the newer one was definitely Tom Cruise. So I probably haven't seen that one. I know about it, but I just never seen it because I am not a Tom Cruise fan.
Yeah,
And
I've only go ahead.
it's probably been a while since I've seen The Mummy too, because I'm not into those type of movies that much. But if it's on TV or whatever, I'll watch it.
I've never seen the mummy. That's on my I guess that's on my watch list though. But I don't watch a lot of Tom Cruise. Like the last movie of his I saw was probably Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, I don't think I've even seen Top Gun Maverick. Like I said, it's not my cup of tea. Uh,
Uh,
I think he's overpaid and underacting.
yeah. Although in the movie series he's working on now, what's it called? Mission Impossible. He does crazy stunts.
What
And
version of
from
films
what
are
I
they up to on Mission Impossible? What are they on? 20, 21, or 22, 23?
hang on,
Uh, I
how
mean, that's like Reacher. It's like, no, no, no.
how many Mission Impossible movies are there?
Too many.
I mean, the first one, oh, okay. It's not giving me a straight answer. Hang on a second.
You'll probably have to do a search for like Mission Impossible series.
I can spell.
Mission
All
Impossible
right.
7 was the last one made in 2023. Then 2025 is going to be the final reckoning. So I guess that would be 8. Yeah, right now there's 7. And the 8th one's coming up.
That's it? I thought there was way more than that.
No,
Huh.
that's what the wonderful world of Google Ethics is telling me. Yeah, exactly there, Hammy. Yeah, when he joined Scientology and started jumping on Oprah's couch. Yep. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yes. Sold for $1 billion contracts. Yep. That's what I'm saying. He's overpaid and cannot act. Um, he was a heartthrob in the 80s and 90s with the original Top Gun and all that. But now it's like, nope. If I want to go spend my money to go watch an action film, it's gonna be with somebody like Daniel Craig, or
One of
it's
my
gonna be somebody that knows how to act well.
that's why I really enjoy Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of funny movies. Like have you seen the movie The Other Guys?
The other guys, yes, with Will Ferrell.
With yeah, with him and Will Ferrell. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that one
yeah.
was a funny one. And then he was in two Transformers movies. Those are pretty good. And then he was in Shooter, um, like a sniper movie, I think. Um, I don't know, but Gregory Peck is also one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, Gregory Peck is really, really good. He had a lot of good of the older movies.
Roman
Oh,
Holiday,
Roman Holiday, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, that was a classic. I
Yes.
enjoyed that movie. Um,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that he was actually in. Trying to think of some of the other ones off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've even seen a good Gregory Peck movie. Um, Probably have almost almost every one. Gregory Peck movies.
he was in Big Country. Oh, Moby
Yeah.
Dick. I didn't know he was in Moby Dick.
He was in MacArthur. Also,
With MacArthur.
How the West Was Won from '92. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean,
the Gunfighter.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he goes all the way. His movies go all the way back to 1944. Wow. I mean, he was pretty active. I mean, well, he passed in 2003, but I mean, still, it's a lot of movies. Because I mean, he was active all the way up to '93. So I mean, that was interesting. Actors are too political anymore. Yes, um, like Robert De Niro. Um, I love his movies, but it's to the point where De Niro needs to go sit in the corner with a dunce hat on right now, as far as I'm concerned. Comments he's been making. I've got a friend that literally will not watch a Robert De Niro film right now because he is that pissed. If you want to watch a movie but don't want another, yeah. Um, Best actor not to get the credit should go to Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, great Scots. Yes. Uh,
Um, what movie? Christopher Lloyd. What movie was that? Back to the Future.
yeah, Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. And then he was also Judge Doom and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay,
Uh,
I did not know.
yep. He was also Reverend Jim in the TV series Taxi back in the early 80s. That's one of the ways he got his actual true start, working with Judd Hirsch and Danny DeVito. Yeah. Christopher Lloyd.
He recently passed, didn't he, or is he still alive?
No, he's still alive. He was just he just did a fan fest about a year ago with Michael J. Fox, doing one of the Back to the Future settings at like a Comic Con or one of those movie cons or whatever. And speaking of Michael J. Fox, one movie that Michael J. Fox made that does not get a lot of airplay and everything, and it was a really, really good movie, was called The Secret of My Success. And that has to be probably one of my favorite Michael J. Fox's movies because it fits him to a T from when he was on Family Ties. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Start
We have
talking
the
about movies. What happens?
we have the mysterious man behind the cloud. The white smoke has shown up.
I'm here. I got
Oh
my
yeah.
handler to let me go for a little bit so I can.
Yeah, you're right. Andy Kaufman did make Taxi also. I mean, I think it was
which
Christopher Lloyd and Andy Kaufman and really Danny DeVito. Those are the three that really made the TV series for me.
Like for me, what made like okay, so I grew up on Mork and Mindy and Taxi and Nanu, all that shit. I grew up. That was my childhood.
Yeah.
With so like that's why everybody knew who Danny DeVito was because he was in other TV shows and other movies. But here goes Andy Kaufman completely outside of his realm, right, and into another thing. And it was like that's pretty much what if you look back at that time frame and equate wrestling to when like WrestleMania 1 with all the celebrities. That's kind of like in that time frame where it actually was a little bit before that, but that's where it caught in. That's why things started getting to be pop culture because let's be fair, back in the 70s and 80s, old wrestling was a southern thing. Like, you had your center stage in Georgia. That's where they did a lot of the wrestling tapings and stuff. And you had up north, you had the small little itty bitty venues that would host them. And every once in a while, there would be this one big one a year. Now, everybody knows what wrestling is. Everybody can name at least 5 wrestlers without even trying. So,
Yep.
you could just sit down and be like, all right, name the 5 most popular wrestlers. Or I could just do it off the top of my head. Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels,
Junkyard
I think
Dog.
I already said. Yeah, Junkyard, the old JYD,
Yep.
Mr. Ritter. I
Jimmy
knew him. I knew
Superfly.
him personally. Yep. I knew Ritter personally. He was a good guy. And also, now we're speaking of wrestling, it's kind of weird that we transitioned into this. A guy that, Decoy, you've seen the videos. Like, I know a thing or two about the wrestling industry. A guy that I met 15 years ago or better, is a legend in wrestling, died last night. So,
Ooh.
the most homicidal, suicidal, genocidal man on earth, Sabu. Yeah,
Taboo.
his uncle was the original Sheik. Sabu, yeah, he's a good guy. He was an asshole. I'll just call a spade a spade. Like, but that was probably mostly because, like, when we would book him for shows or when he'd be at conventions that we would go to, he was always wasted on either alcohol or high. But I feel like if you watch any videos of Sabu, you're going to understand why. He has a past. That dude would almost kill himself. So he was probably more pain than anybody in the world should ever go through. So he has a past. He can do whatever drugs and alcohol he wants. But he was like 60 years old and died. That's crazy. Hey, Tater, yeah, Andre the Giant, that's somebody I would have loved to have grown up in the Andre the Giant era and tried to drink beer with him because I heard he could sit down and drink like 60 or 70 beers and it not even affect him. That a beer can was smaller, like he could palm a beer can and you wouldn't even see it.
Who,
That's crazy.
Andre the
Yeah.
Giant? Yeah.
Yeah. He's a big dude.
I heard Gorilla could do the same thing too.
The old Gorilla Monsoon.
Yep.
Mr. Morella.
Yep. I was watching some documentaries somewhere out on YouTube's, and they were saying that when he retired from wrestling, he was from being in a ring, he was like really, really depressed until he got into the announcing bit. Then working with Bobby the Brain Heenan really, really turned him back around again.
Oh, yeah, I could tell you personally speaking, those things are not as soft as you think they are. Them rings are not soft.
No.
That is a steel frame with wood that covers the slats, and then there's like a small little pad that goes over it, something similar to like a wrestling mat that you would see in school, except for a lot of times it's just foam, and then a canvas pulled tight over that. That shit hurts. That hurts a lot. And if you don't mess around and tuck your chin, you're gonna knock yourself out without even thinking about it. I don't. Brandy, my wife, when I would run shows because I was a promoter here in PA, she ran my concession stand. So like when we would go out a week before the show, and we would spend like $200-300 on like chips and hot dogs and hamburgers and pizzas and whatever, you know what I mean, we were gonna make that day, and then obviously we would upcharge it, and she was in charge of the money because I didn't really trust anybody else to deal with that volume of money coming in because people always want something to drink and something to eat. And she got to get in the ring because she used to do the same thing. Like I went to a place in Harrisburg and got my ass kicked by a guy by the name of Steve Blackman. You could look him up. He was the Lethal Weapon, and for real, the Lethal Weapon, because he beat my ass bad. But she thought the same thing. She's like, "Oh, wrestling's fake." I was like, "Yeah, it is. The punches and kicks are fake, but I dare you to fall on that ground right there and tell me how it feels." And yeah. she to her credit, God bless her heart, she tried, but she knew what I told her that it would hurt, so she kind of like fell like a drunk person. Just a stumble and then a fall. She didn't just butterfly right into smashing her back on the old saying, the spine on the pine. That's for real.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. If you don't get your arms out just right, also, I mean, you can really knock the wind out of yourself and everything else.
It's called a flat back. Take a flat back bump. You got to get your arms out. If you ever watch wrestling and wonder why wrestlers' palms are down and they smack the mat at the same time they hit, it's to distribute their weight.
Yep. That's one thing I learned in the police academy. They taught us how to fall, so that way if we did, we wouldn't hurt ourselves or be knocked out of breath and all that good stuff. And
when I was training, you went to how I learned how to fall. They didn't teach you how to fall. They made you fall. They would hit you and push you and do all that other shit to make you fall. You learn how to fall on your own to where it doesn't hurt, or at least hurts less. But there's no such thing as that not hurting. Anybody in the world, wrestling is the fakest thing you've ever seen next to a movie. But in a movie, they don't get hurt. In wrestling, they get hurt.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, so Ric Flair or Tater saying Undertaker talks about a lot about Monsoon Gorilla a lot on his stories on his podcast, and Ric Flair is also another good wrestler. Yeah, The Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Yeah,
Richard Fleer,
Richard
his
Fleer.
name.
Yes. Yep.
Yep, nope. He's a good one too. I met him. We had a show. I didn't run the show, but I was part of the show. And actually, I was helping to do security for a guy by the name of Dan Severn. You could look him up, Dan the Beast Severn. He was a UFC fighter back in the day. He was famous for his mustache. And a buddy of mine, who was the co-promoter of the company that I ran, he got hired basically to do security for just this one guy. So while we were at the merchandise stand, I was standing on one side, he was standing on the other, and his big shtick was to sell combs because, you know, the whole comb mustache thing.
Yep.
And Ric Flair was there. I've never seen somebody so animated in my life. This guy was 150 years old then, and still as animated as if he was 20. I don't know how in the hell is he bouncing around doing all this shit and not having an aneurysm, not out of breath. I'm sitting there watching him going, all right, dude, I need water. Stop.
Yeah. Ric Flair could have been a Walt Disney animatronic, as far as I'm concerned. And Kidder's corrected me. It was not Gorilla Monsoon, but it was actually Andre the Giant that he talks about. Because he never got to wrestle Andre. Yeah.
I forget what the referee's name is, but it was one of the referees from back in the day. I went to his bar. Can't remember what his name is. I want to say it was something White, like last name was White, but he was Andre's handler, and he has the whole story up on the wall inside of his bar, with like pictures of them drinking and stuff, and they would say, you know, Andre would say, pull over, get beer, and they would go get like 30 or 40 beers, and then they would drive for another 5 or 6 hours, and he would be the only one that didn't get out to piss, but he would drink all the beer but wouldn't get out to piss, and they were always wondering like, where do you put this? And it's just because he was such a big dude that by volume that was nothing to him.
Yeah. 40, 30 beers, you know, he probably wasn't even drunk.
Jesus Christ, I'm 240 pounds. I'm 6'6", 240, and 15 beers is like, that's good.
Yep.
I couldn't imagine being 8 foot tall, 600 pounds.
No, it's yeah, he was a freaking monster. That's for damn sure. I mean, he was well, he was in The Princess Bride, so I mean, he made everybody else look like a freaking dwarf in that movie.
Wasn't he in that Robin Hood movie too, the Captain Hook or something? Was he in that? I don't know why I'm thinking he was, but I feel like
I don't think so.
he
I
might not
could
have
be
been.
wrong though.
Well, I'm probably the wrong one here, because I know he was in a couple movies, but I don't know why I'm thinking he was in Robin Hood, but he probably wasn't. Not matter of fact, now I'm pretty sure he wasn't. Now that I'm thinking about it, but he was in some kind of movie like that where he wore like piratey type clothes and stuff.
He was in Conan the Destroyer, The Princess Bride, and some French movie I can't even try to pronounce.
El Pepe Le
And
Q.
yeah, and Trading Mom. Why he's in Trading Mom, I have no idea. But yeah, those are the movies that he was in. Or uh, so the only one I really remember him being in a movie is The Princess Bride. Uh, but that's been a while since I even seen that movie.
Well, yeah. When did Andre die? In like the mid '90s, like '95 or '96 or something like that? Or am I
90,
thinking? No. What?
93.
Okay, so then when did Yokozuna die? Yokozuna died in the mid '90s, like '97, '98.
Yokozuna. Uh, he was 2000.
2000. Huh. You want to know a really bad story? I was at WrestleMania 10 in Madison Square Garden in New York. My brother took me there as like a surprise birthday party or birthday present type deal, even though it was well before my birthday, but it was around tax time, so they took me, and that was back when you could go buy WrestleMania tickets at like Blockbuster, and they were selling them tickets. You could buy them tickets anywhere. Um, I was I was in Kansas City, Missouri, at the Kemper Arena in 1998 when Owen Hart fell to his death. I was in the arena, but I wasn't in the arena because it was like basically an ad break. They were playing a video. So me and a buddy of mine, I was actually there with his counselor. We went to get popcorn. And when we came back, they had the whole like the arena was dimmed down because they were playing videos. Nobody was watching what was going on. Like, I didn't see nothing going on in the ring. I didn't know nothing of it until by the time they brought the lights back up, they were already taking him up the side. Like, you could just barely see them going through the curtain on the side of the entrance. It wasn't until the next day or the day after when we got home. My mom said that she heard it on the radio. So that just tells you how out of touch the world was back then, right? Because there was no cell phones and shit. If you didn't hear it on the radio or see it on the TV, that was it. And we didn't we listened to tapes on the way to and from because we wanted to listen to our music, not have to go every 50 miles and change a radio station.
Yeah, that's before the days of Sirius XM radio or Apple Music. And Taylor brings up a deal. No, Robin Hood. He was mislabeled on Google. Yeah, it's like I didn't think he was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Uh, yeah, I'm looking here. It's like I didn't see him in there. It's everybody's saying no. It's uh, the Princess Bride, because I mean it kind of. I'm looking at the pictures. It does look kind of like, well, it could be Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Is the Princess Bride the one where he's like holding somebody on his hand or on his shoulders or something? Because that's the mental image I have of him holding people on his shoulders in a movie. And I don't know why I thought my brain went right to Robin Hood, because when they're in the weird place that they like ride roller skates or whatever, and like it's like a big ass jungle gym. That's where I'm associating that to, and I think it wasn't, but just because he had people on his shoulders or he was carrying somebody in his hand or something.
Um,
So damn long ago, it's hard to really. I let too many things get cloudy here.
Yeah,
I gotta go. Hold on, I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I'm trying to look and see. I don't remember that myself. But like I said, it's been a while since I've seen either Robin Hood Men in Tights and or the Princess Bride. I need to put those two on my watch list again because they definitely need to pop in again.
Okay, again, I'm completely way out of touch here because this is him holding. There's a picture of him holding 4 ladies, and he's wearing his wrestling gear. So I don't know. It says right here, Grapevine, whatever Grapevine is. The Grapevine. Hell if I know, but
what if that's like a movie or something, or a magazine, or like an online magazine or something?
I don't know. I'll send you the image. You can look at it and see if maybe you could figure it out, because it don't make no damn sense to me. But my brain's all over the place right now. That right there is what I seen, and what I was thinking of when I said he had people sitting on his arms.
Oh yeah, the Grapevine is a magazine. Volume 1, number 8, $1 from the magazine back then.
Yeah, I gotta stop being old, because I remember that like it was yesterday, like him holding people, thinking, now how in the hell is he holding people? And that was clearly before CGI.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't want that dude to grab a hold of you. No shot.
No, no, I prefer to have my back in one piece. Thank you.
Here's a picture you might like. Hold on. Save this. Since we were just talking about it. When I was saying about him drinking a beer. There's a picture of him holding a beer can.
Yeah. Now, something like that, you would think, just by looking at it, looks like it was something that AI would come up with today.
Yeah, no, that's like he. There's fuller pictures of it too. Like you could barely see the bracelet in his hand, but there's fuller pictures of him holding it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can tell it's an old can because it's got the metal seam running down the middle of it, and then the double rolled edges on top and bottom.
Yeah, and the beer was something Canadian.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that guy. There's no shot. If he was still alive and something happened, no, you
Yeah.
gotta send the goddamn gorilla at me. I don't need to fight a gorilla. I'm good. Unless I had
Yeah.
like a gun or something, I wouldn't. I'm smart. Like I've been in a lot of fights in my life, but I'm smart enough to know when I have gone too far, and I won't pick the fight, or I'll try to like de-escalate it. There's no. If he come up to you mad, you have two choices: run or shit. Those are your options.
Yeah. Or you could shit then run. You could do
Because
both.
if he grabs a hold of you, it's over. There's. What
Oh
do you
yeah.
do? Try to kick him in his beanbag?
I don't know if you can kick that high or not.
That's what I'm saying. You got to hope he's already picking you up by the time you kick him.
Yeah. That is true. Trying to think of any of the other ones. Oh, have you seen the movie Ready to Rumble?
Oh, that was from like the either early 2000s or late 90s. That had what's his face in it. It was a WCW based movie. Had Macho Man in it and all of them, and that's where they in that movie's where they had the 3 stages of hell, and they actually turned it into an actual match on TV. I'm trying to think of the actor's name. I could see it, but I can't remember what his name is.
Martin Landau was the instructor.
Nope, the main star. And he ended up actually going on to win the WCW title on TNT or TBS, whatever it was. Like he was the legit wrestling champion. You just say his initials and I'll probably get it right. Oh, I can't remember.
David Alaquette.
No, David Arquez. Arquette. David Arquette.
Yeah, David
That was
Arquette.
his name, yeah. Yep. He went on to like they turned that whole. That's what ruined it. The movie was good, but once they brought him on to actual TV and made him like the world champion for no reason except for here's a Hollywood celebrity. We got to make him a champion to get publicity out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, it had like Chris Robinson as one of the referees in there, and I thought it had like the Iron Sheik was in there, but I see Sid Vicious was in it, and like John Cena. So it had kind of had a mix between both WCW and WWF, which was kind of right on the verge of the Raw is War deal. I mean,
I have not heard somebody say that in 20 years. Raw is war.
yeah, it's been a while since anybody remembers that the good old Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon and going against
you say
WCW.
that now first thing that I think of is at the entrance where it's like Steve Austin walking down this thing, and there's two barrels that blow up, and there's flames and fire everywhere. But me having OCD, when it was called Raw is War, I couldn't get past the fact that it said Raw is Raw, but Raw was spelled backwards the last time. Because
Yeah.
War and Raw, it's foot. I could not get over that. Every time I seen it, I'm like, that says Raw is Raw, but they spelled it wrong.
That's back when Triple H and Shawn Michaels really had fun with Degeneration X.
Yeah, and the whole USA Network threatening to shut them down, and they sent them a list of shit that they were allowed to say and not allowed to say.
Mm-hmm.
And being assholes that they were, they went live on TV and read the entire list doing the presidential speech, like behind a podium. And USA Network couldn't do nothing about it because it was an official correspondence from the USA Network. So they were
Yep.
just letting everybody know what USA told them. And then from that point on, they were allowed to do whatever they want.
Pretty much. And
That's how entertainment developed. And like, you know, you had the superhero era of television where you had Superman on TV, Batman on TV. You had Happy Aliens like Mork coming down,
mhm.
all superhero-y type stuff. And then
Oh,
it
yeah.
like it devolved into a cartoony character stuff. Then it came up to reality television before that was a thing. And then when reality television was popular, they took all the reality television TV that was fake and they made that mean less. And now they're coming back up again. It's like, I can't watch TV without being fucking confused. Hey, it's my Polish president, my best friend.
Yeah. Wonderful Cosmetech stumbled into the spider web, did he?
King of Kamasi.
But yeah, I mean, when they came out with Happy Days and Fozzie jumping the shark, that's when they came up with a new term when TV shows start to go south. But the question is, did Happy Days really start going downhill after Fozzie jumped the shark? I think it started going down beforehand, actually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that was like the top of the iceberg at that point. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you had the good wholesome shows back then, right? The Andy Griffith Show. You had it was good wholesome. There was always a happy ending. Oh, bye, sweetheart. I missed you. See, I can't even talk nice to him. I try to talk nice to him and he leaves. It's okay.
No, we know better. It's Cosmetech. He's saying he's gonna leave, but he's not. He'll just be sitting in the weeds.
Here I was the other day thinking that I actually made progress because he said I told him he was my favorite Polish person, and he said he was starting to like me a little more. Now look, now he's leaving because I'm here. It's okay, Cosmetech. I'll stay because you're here, just so that way we can have a symbiotic relationship, a kumbaya moment.
Oh God, no copyright infringements. Don't start singing. Well, actually, you can. I think that actually a public domain song.
Yeah, it's almost like saying Christmas songs are copywritten. It can't be. There's no way. Like
some are.
You might think they are, but there's no way that you're going to stop somebody or like. How would you enforce that? Would you copyright strike if you own fucking a Merry Christmas song? Let's just say, and somebody made a video about it. Would you copyright claim them? I would say probably not, because first off, your material's getting out there, and second off, it's a holiday song.
Well, it depends on who it is. If it's Mariah Carey, oh hell yeah, you're gonna get copyright claimed all day long. Well, or Michael Bublé, that's all they ever make their money off is Christmas songs.
Because that's the only thing that they're relevant for. Mariah Carey done sold her soul to the devil for $30 million, and Prince said she was wrong and went live on TV and said it. Because back then they were selling CDs for what, $20 a piece. He's like, if you sold this amount of CDs, you're already gonna get more than your contract. So don't sell per volume, sell per or don't sell per album, sell per volume. How much you sell. Here, I'm gonna sign here, and after 5 years, however many albums I put out, each album, I want a percentage of the sale. So she robbed herself.
Oh yeah, and I mean most of the artists do, because once they record the song, they don't own the song. They goes back to the record company unless they buy the rights.
Yeah,
Like
they could buy the master. They could buy the master of it, but most of the time, like when Michael Jackson bought the masters, the rights to the Beatles, he bought that for so cheap compared to what it was valued at, that why that record label sold it, who knows? But Michael Jackson took that shit and just leased it out, and everybody was playing Beatles songs, even on commercials. He was making
oh
money
yeah,
hand over fist.
yep,
The only person nowadays I think that really owns, unless they own the studio, but prior to, like, okay, so Snoop Dogg bought Death Row Records a couple
yep,
years ago. But prior to that, he bought back the masters to his originals.
hmm
He bought them back off Suge Knight. But Suge Knight, he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. So he was smart and just sold the entire company to Snoop. So Snoop not only got his money back, but now he owns the masters to all the Death Row originals.
yeah,
So anybody that wants to build a gangster movie going forward or anything like that, they got to pay him.
yeah. Snoop is one smart dog, that's for sure.
And
No pun
you could thank
intended.
that on Metallica, really. If you want to trace it back to, like, financial, you trace that back to Metallica versus Napster. And
Oh yeah,
that's where it all happened. Because Metallica said, hey, you know what? Nobody else is saying anything, but we're going to make a lot of money off this. So that's what they did. They sued Napster, got a boatload of money. And then everybody else was like, wait a minute. Yeah, we're probably losing money, because everybody just assumed at that point that it was out there and it was public. Like, you
but
could just use whatever you want. And that's where copyright laws really started taking a turn for the worse. So thanks, Metallica. Love your music. Hate your business prowess, you pricks.
no, don't blame all Metallica. Okay, it's not all Metallica that went down that rabbit hole.
It was Lars. It was Lars.
Yeah,
Let's just.
yeah, yeah. It was Lars, and and from everything that I've seen and read, he's just the biggest ass on the face of the earth. I mean, Hansfield, good example. That guy is very, very crowd orientated. I've seen some behind the scenes shots of him in his little cub area where his guitar master is tuning the guitars and everything. He's got a stogie going. He's got a cup of beer, a cup of water, and something else in a cup.
Oh yeah, he
And
walks down some steps and he's right at his little booth, just cheeching and drinking away. Yeah, no, I've seen him
yeah,
too.
and I mean, and he'll sit there and he'll talk to the people and everything else while he's doing everything and getting ready for the next song or during the break or whatever. But it's the Napster versus, or Metallica versus Napster was all Lars. And everybody thought for the longest time it was James that was leading the way because he's the front man. It's like, no. If I was James, I would have set his ass straight or set the record straight. It's like, this is the asshole that, started all this shit against you people.
Well, and the thing was, it really wasn't a big deal, right? Like, there was no reason to make a big deal out of it. The only thing that was there was that intellectual property, because there was still no money. If I went on to Napster and I downloaded a song,
Mhm.
it was free. You signed up for the website, you could download it. It was free. To me, if I was an artist back in them days, they didn't know what was coming. Nobody did, right? Like, this digital age.
No.
They could have been like, all right, you know what, we'll put our music up on there, and we'll give you 10 years to do it, or 5 years to do it, and then we'll want paid for it. That would have gave Napster as a business an opportunity to, over the course of 5 years, to start monetizing certain content.
Mhm.
Then by the time that 5 years is up, Napster already has a nest egg that they can pay the artist back, plus get new artists to come on. It
Yeah.
would literally be the Amazon of today in terms of music.
Yeah. Cause I mean, basically Lars literally shot himself in the foot, and because I mean, yeah, okay, so yeah, they're not getting there at the time. It was 99 cents per song. Okay, people were downloading it, so I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of loss of revenue, but they weren't downloading the full albums. Okay, they weren't trying to download a 15 to $40 album off of Napster. They were going after one song and putting it in a playlist. Okay, maybe having a party so that one song is being listened to by a lot of people, maybe on a portable MP3 Walkman or whatever it was back in the day.
Well, the ones that took a hit on that were DJs
Oh yeah.
because they would be able to like sit and download the most popular songs over the course of the week and then go out on the weekends and do their gigs and play the popular songs.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that took a hit because now, you remember the old school DJs where they had two turntables.
Yep.
I'm going to say it just because two turntables and a microphone, like that's what it was. They would have one song on one turntable, one on another. When one was done, they would just flip a switch, boop, boop, and go over to the other one. Then they would have to, pull another vinyl out.
Yep.
CDs were a thing, but there was no fast way to change CDs. And the CDWRs weren't out yet, so you could burn your own. Those didn't become a thing for a couple years after the Napster Metallica fight. I think that's actually probably what led into it. Somebody's like, well, why don't we just make a way for people to put it on a CD? CDs were just becoming popular. Everybody was enjoying them. And then, then you were able to burn your own CD. I still remember sitting down, putting tape over the top of my cassette and putting it in a radio and sticking another radio beside it and hitting record when my favorite song came on. There'd be times where I'd miss like 20 seconds of the song, but at least
Yeah.
I would have the most of it.
It's like when I had my internet radio station way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, everything was digital. I mean, I've still got the software. I mean, I can literally go out in the garage right now, grab my server, pull it up, and update it because I think it's running Windows XP for the server, but literally put it right back on the air as it was back then. It was an oldie station, so I mean, don't have to keep up with the latest and greatest of the audio. But the problem is, since it was all digital music, I had to have while broadcasting a physical copy of the song. Well, I may not have actually ripped the music, but I had a digital copy, but I also had a physical hard copy. And if they wanted to go out in my garage and shift and look through, I think the last weigh-in of the actual vinyl I had was close to 250 pounds of records. Be my guest.
Jesus. Like, I still have a program. I don't know if you ever heard of it or not, but it's called Virtual DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I still have that. It's the newest version only because it updates itself automatically, but it's probably been 5 years plus since I actually even did anything with it. But back then I had it set up where the tracks were going and I could have one song end and within like 3 or 4 seconds of that song ending the other one would begin, so it was a smooth transition. Never actually really gave a shit about it. Like I wasn't like, "Oh, I'm going to get this because I want to be a DJ." I got it then because it was free.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to listen to music, I could just load a whole bunch of music onto it, hit play, and let it go. I didn't have to go on YouTube and every time a song ended, type a song in. I could just put whatever I wanted and listen to it. Like that to me was what I thought it was meant to be, but it was meant to be DJs out in the field at a building that has Wi-Fi can just download. If somebody requests a song, they could bump that song 5 ahead, download it, and have it ready to play.
Yeah.
I was like, and I only figured that out in the past 3 years because when the one restaurant I worked at, the waitress there is dating a DJ on the radio, And he does that. He goes out on the weekends and does like weddings and stuff. And that's what he uses. And he told me while we were kayaking one day that that's how he does it. I would have never have even considered that as a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the old days to where there's, knobs and everything else that they have to move and tune in. It's all, they'll still have the full mixer in front of them, but it's one cable now running into a computer that runs everything. That they can still have full mixer in front of them, but they don't have to worry about anything. Just one Cat 5 cable plugged into to the audio box, and away it goes.
Well, he said that too, right? He's like, a lot of it is for show.
Oh yeah,
They'll plug it in, and there'll be buttons that are lit up and stuff that he'll look like he'll push buttons, but they don't do nothing. He just lets the songs play, and it's all smoke and mirrors, which I'm like, okay, I get that, but you got to buy that stuff to do it.
yeah.
Um,
Oh,
but
oh yeah,
the better your setup is, even though you're not really ever using it, it's the more you can charge the venue to book you, because you're like, I got to bring in all my equipment. Here's all my equipment. I need this much money. Where if I was just running it off a laptop, which you could easily do and nobody would know the difference, but like, I charge you $25 plus free beer for the night.
yeah,
They'll pick me over you every day. But if I say, hey, look, I have all this equipment, and this equipment does this, it controls this light and this smoke machine, and it does all this, so it's all integrated. You want the best experience? Pay me. They're sitting there with a button that squirts out smoke, and the damn uh, the lights are set on a sensor, like a vibration sensor. So as the music changes, so do the lights. It's like the old clap on, clap off thing. If there's a noise, it reacts to it. And that's how the lights are actually set up. But everybody knows it. But for some reason, even the vendors who know it are too stupid to like just say, no, that doesn't make no sense. They're like, oh, you want $300? Here you go. He tells me he gets $1,500 to do a wedding, a reception. So 4 or 5 hours, $1,500
oh yeah.
to sit on his ass and play. He's not even doing no work at all. None. He could preload the entire playlist and just sit there and drink beer and get $1,500.
Yeah. Just be there in case somebody wants a special request. Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is just literally crazy coming up with half the stuff that, we take. Everybody takes it for granted now because they did not live back when, radio was pure analog. Um, I remember my scoutmaster back in Oklahoma owned a radio station. Okay. The funny thing is, he sold it to an elderly woman, and the elderly woman, her daughter was dating my cousin. So it's like, how funny is that, right? So I could go down to the radio station literally anytime I wanted to. At that point, but it's like I remember going into the top of the building to where the radio station was located. Um, it was on top of an old office building up on and seeing the DJ booth. So, I mean, you literally walked in, and the first thing that popped into your mind is seeing Johnny Fever sitting there in WKRP. That's literally what it looked like. And this is the number one radio station in my hometown. It's like, wow, okay. Then when he sold it to her, they moved it from that location down to a street corner, and so they got a little more visibility, and you could see the DJ talking. So they did a little upgrading and everything to it, and they moved the antenna like way out in the country. And then they started microwave beaming the signal out to them. And then when Kay, the girl that was dating my cousin, she was in a car crash and passed away. Her mom then sold the radio station to another guy, and he bought all the radio stations in the area, which I thought was actually kind of funny or illegal because I thought it was actually creating a monopoly. I guess not, because he owned all the. He owned all but one. He didn't own the AM radio station. Um, so he bought them all and then uh, put them all under one and closed all of the other broadcast centers and merged them all into one building. So you walked into one office and the first room was, the country radio station. The second room was the rock and roll radio station. The third room was news talk. And the fourth room was sports radio. All being broadcast from one building all the time. Then he started dibbling into automation. And I could tell the night he flipped the switch and went to satellite feeds because the music sounded different. You didn't have the constant DJ chatter. You had the occasional DJ talk, but it wasn't like the other. The number went from a local telephone number with a local area code to an 888 number. And so you called the syndicate and you talked to whoever it was there to request a song. And you hope it was like Wolfman Jack in American Graffiti and try to get it on within a week.
It's kind of funny you say that because, again, like I was saying, my girl we worked with, me and Brandy, her boyfriend is a DJ, right? So when we would go out on kayaks, it would be on the weekends or holidays, depending if the restaurant was closed down or if the DJ, like if he didn't have to work. But I don't want to say every time, but almost every time we were out on the boats, we always had a small little wireless, not wireless, but a small little radio, like a battery powered radio that one of us would use, and it would be him on the radio, DJing on the radio, but he's sitting right there in a kayak drinking a beer beside me. And I asked him one day, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? He's like, when you listen to weekend shows, they're never live, ever. Like,
No.
that's just what it is. They record them throughout the week. And I asked the same thing you said about, a monopoly. We have this thing called the Seven Mountains Media. And that's what it is. Like, they own the country stations. They own it's pretty much everything we can dial into without it sounding remotely staticky. Is owned by the same company. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's kind of cool that y'all do that because at least you're keeping all the entertainment together and just putting it out separately. But what I don't like is the cross promotion. Right? I don't want to be listening to the rock and roll station and hear advertisements for Bigfoot Country, the country station. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear what I want to hear. And that's, I think, the biggest problem with radio stations owning, or a station owning multiple stations. And and they're not, they've gone as far now as to stop buying up media stations that are available. They buy up the station's tower.
Yeah.
They don't buy up the station, they buy the tower. And then they just like relay, they tower bounce. So they project their content to a larger base, but that small little radio station that people know, hey, this is Jim and Jane from What the Hell FM, they're gone. What the Hell FM gone. Now it's this new station. So it's kind of the Walmart mom and pop shop. Everybody liked Walmart because you could go buy big box items, but they still went to the mom and pop shop because of the atmosphere. You go in there, talk with them, they were your neighbors. Now, Walmart is the new mom and pop shop, and Amazon is the new Walmart.
Yep. And Kmart is the next day bargain bin.
Yeah, they shut all our Kmarts down. We don't have no more of them.
Yeah, we've got no more Kmarts. They just literally shuttered our Sears like a year ago, and the big Sears that was in our area was shuttered about 6 months ago. So Kmart, Sears, um, they're pretty much gone. I mean, they don't even own Die Hard anymore. They don't own Craftsman. The only thing that they still own is the Kenmore brand, and that's not even a brand. That's just a rebranding of something of greater value.
Oh well, Sears broke my dad's heart. Um, I think everybody knows Sears and Kmart were owned by the same
Hmm.
parent company. Uh, but my dad shopped at Sears religiously because that was the only place that you could get Craftsman tools and still get the lifetime guarantee.
Yep.
And my dad would travel 20 minutes just to go get a new wrench because
Hmm.
he would take the broken one back and say, "It's broken. I want that one." And they would just exchange it. Boop, boop. It was done.
Yeah.
And then they shut down Kmart and they had it on the news that, Kmart's and Sears in this map area, and they showed it on the map like of our state. They were going to slowly start shutting down, blah blah blah. Well, I don't know, either I'm an idiot or I don't know what slowly means, because that happened so quick. It was like Kmart shut down, and then a month later there was a going out of business sale at Sears. And my dad's like, "We got to go over there to Sears." We walked in Sears, there was nothing. You could buy beds. They still had beds and like
Yeah.
dumb stuff that nobody wanted because they started selling it so cheap that nobody cared.
Yeah. We had a two-story Sears, and it got to the point to where the bottom section was completely just sealed off. So it's like you had to park in a certain area in the mall to hit the upper level because the bottom level was not even there. I'm wanting to start to do this with my hands now because of you and your, glitch going on there.
Yeah, no.
But yeah,
I had BB doing it.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, our Sears slowly got started going downhill.
No, and that's happening to like every major chain, right? Like, I remember being pissed off at Walmart for putting out these other businesses. Like, I'm a fisherman. There
Hmm.
was plenty of other bait and tackle shops all around my area, small ones. Just, they were open from like noon to 5. You wanted to get, you knew you had to be there at a certain time. Like, they would open up for core times.
Yeah,
Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Walmart just completely expanded their sports center, or like their sports section, and you could buy everything that they sold at the little mom and pop shop that they were selling for $10. You could buy it at Walmart for $3.99. Why wouldn't you
yep,
go there? Even the gas money to get there still meant you saved money. But these people that were putting food on the table for their families is done. And I was like, man, Walmart's an asshole. But here I am, a hypocrite, because I was still going to Walmart.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, you gotta go to Walmart. I mean, I mean, they started getting to the point that every time you turn around, there was another store closed. So it kept forcing you back into the Walmart deal. Now it's like, oh, do I go to Walmart or do I just buy it on Amazon?
well, and
Well,
that's what I was getting at too, right? Is like, I was 100% against Amazon. I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't want to buy something and wait 3 days to get it. I could just get in my car and go do it. But then you got to consider the price, because a lot of times Amazon will give you a better deal. And is it really worth the money? But my heart as a businessman, I go, there are thousands of people that work here
yeah,
that
actually,
are going to lose money.
actually, Amazon has steadily been raising their prices, so it's actually not a good deal anymore just to keep going to Amazon.
Well, Amazon Prime is also not really worth it. I have it. I've had it for like 3 years. The only
I
benefit to Amazon Prime is you can get some stuff the next day.
Yeah. I mean, I bought into Amazon Prime back when it was $79 a year. and it's slowly been going up. Oh yeah, you get a benefit. You get to watch, movies on Amazon Video. Well, now I got to pay an extra $4.99 a month to get commercial free. Where's my benefit? Oh, Twitch. We bought Twitch. Guess what? You get to watch commercial free. Well, I think we need to spin that off. Oh, no. You get commercials now, even though I pay 100 and who knows what a year for
I was about
Amazon.
to say it's like $22 a month right now for Amazon. So the math itself doesn't even add up.
Yeah.
The selling point to Amazon, at least for me, for Prime, was that I could get, um, Amazon Music. I could listen to music because I don't have an iPhone, so I don't need to buy Apple stuff. So the music was one thing, and the movies was another, and then there was that if I really needed something in a hurry, I could find it for next day.
Yeah, the expedited shipping and the shipping costs is really where it kind of actually plays. But like you said, you got to be able to figure in the either $3.99 or $5.99 shipping. If you order enough to make up that $22 to $25 a month, or if
Well,
you
they
get
screwed us.
value.
They screwed us anyway because when you get Prime, you're supposed to get Prime delivery.
Mm-hmm.
My stuff shows up USPS.
Well, okay,
And I can
so
tell you this. There are times in the wintertime where the mailman doesn't want to walk up the driveway because it's too snowy or whatever. So then I have to, they won't carry the package up. So what they'll do is they'll leave a little notice in the mailbox that I have a package waiting for me. And then I have to go to the post office to get it. Now, why am I going to pick up my own mail when I already paid to have it delivered?
yeah, so the way that Amazon delivery or Amazon Prime shipping company, 'cause it's actually a separate corporation from Amazon, believe it or not. It is they will when you order something, they decide how they're going to ship it. Either it's going to be UPS or USPS, or it's going to be Prime or DHL. Yes, they still have a contract with DHL, believe it or not. So they decide there on if you're going to order it. Like if you buy a mechanical bed frame or a adjustable bed frame, well, they're not going to kill their driver's backs. Oh, hell no. They're going to send that to the United States Postal Service and let that poor old fragile mail lady, drop it off. That's so that they keep it to where they keep their incidents of accidents down and push it off onto the other companies.
Yeah, I filed a couple complaints about that. Like, why am I going to the store or going to the post office to pick up something I paid to have delivered? And that's pretty much what they told me is once you place the order, Amazon decides the best route to ship it, and it's up to the shipping company at that point to get
Mhm.
it to me. And if the shipping company can't get it to me, then it's up to me to pick it up. And at one point, they even used an example that if I was on a boat, there's no way that a delivery driver could get to me on a boat that I would have to come to land to retrieve my package. Me being a smartass, I responded back, my house, for the best that I know, is still in the same place it was built on. They could get here. It's not like I'm flying a aircraft around the planet, and just you got to be there at the right time to grab it. No, I'm here. Don't if you're gonna put it in the truck to bring to me, but then get to my house and say, you know what? I don't really feel like walking up that little driveway. I'm just gonna write out a note and tell them to come get it.
Yeah.
I feel like I should at least get some money back, right? Like I should get a percentage of what I paid back because a percentage of what I paid was for the delivery anyway.
Yeah. Then you got your gas to go to the post office to go get it too. Yeah.
Now, the one
So,
thing I will say about having Amazon Prime is about 2 years ago, our deaf dog, we had her fixed. And the wife ordered these like skin tight T-shirts for her dog, so that way she couldn't get at the stitches. And they showed up and already had dog hair on them. So we returned them because at that point we're like, this is clearly a returned product that they resold and reshipped. And once we took it to the drop off location, we took it there, and they were pulling in to grab the packages as we were pulling out. We put it at the drop off and stopped at the gas station that was literally built right into it. And by the time we were leaving, they were already leaving with the packages. And in the 20 minutes it took me to get home, the money that product was worth was already credited to my account.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a refund into my bank, but it was credited towards my Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon does not like to give money back to people under any circumstances. They give you a store credit. So that way you have to keep spending back with them.
Well, yeah, they're not, yeah, because that everything that they're selling you, they bought for a third of what they're selling it to you for. So if I bought those things for $25, they probably spent $5 on them, or $8 on it. So to give me $25 back, and then I buy something that might even be cheaper than what I originally bought, now they definitely made money. But I can't go over that value because that's the only credit that I have. So they're making money both ways.
Oh, yeah. And the only time you will actually see an Amazon Prime delivery vehicle in your area is if you have a like a Amazon Flex warehouse in your direct area.
Oh, we absolutely have Amazon vehicles driving around. I drive down Route 35, which is 5 miles away from me. Not even that, probably. And there'll be Amazon Prime vans driving back and forth, but they will not, for some reason, come onto my back road. That has to then go to, and I don't know, it might be like broke down, it might be segmented on a map that certain products, this is who does it. But funny you say about a bed, because 3 years ago we bought this new memory foam bed that's supposed to be, if there's movement on it, you don't feel it, like, because we have dogs and they jump up and down off the bed, and they were waking us up hand over fist all the time, just jumping up the whole bed, feel like you're in the ocean. So she spent, I couldn't tell you, a lot of money on this bed, and it showed up not on the same day. We got the mattress and the box springs one day and the frame the next day, even though they were ordered on the same day, supposed to be delivered on the same day. They put this as far away from the front door as possible. Everything weighed a ton. The frame is all wood with metal. Everything weighed a ton. And you can't really bitch about it. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to tell you, well, we give you an estimated delivery date. We don't give you a guaranteed delivery date. That's their thing. Estimated delivery on this day. They'll give you the tracking number so you could track it to know if it's going to show up that day or not. But we've already had it where it said that it was in our town, but still didn't show up till the day after because the post office didn't put it on the truck. So you really, sometimes you have to, and people, this whole thing with porch pirates, that's because everybody knows that Amazon ain't perfect and the post office ain't perfect. So your neighbor might be waiting on this important package and it don't show up till tomorrow. And if he's gone, you just walk over and take it.
Yeah. Do me a favor. I don't have the commercial in here yet. Can you entertain people for a minute or two while I be right back?
Sure, let's sing the alphabet song. I've been a big fan of this new one.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sing the alphabet song. I can't sing, so I ain't gonna try.
Okay. But yeah, I'll be back in a moment.
All right, this is question and answer time with Hammy. Go ahead in the comments. Let's post something in there. Should I host my own podcast? It's been something I've been thinking about doing, but I don't know if I really want to do it. But if I do it, it's going to be gaming related. So retro gaming up till now, at least retro in my time. So back to the Atari, up till now. I've pretty much owned every game system. Haven't played every game. I refuse to play certain ones like Call of Duty, which I was sent a thing today by BB that says that Activision has, and I don't know if this is real or not. This is what's confusing. So, but effective immediately, teabagging and diddying is a bannable offense. And they even go as far as to describe teabagging, rapid crouching over a downed or eliminated player. I mean, I think everybody knows what a teabag is in video games, but diddying, excessive or taunting movements after elimination meant to harass or humiliate. Ain't that the same damn thing? I feel like that's the same thing. Like, you're not supposed to celebrate killing somebody? Activision fails. No wonder Call of Duty's not as good as Battlefield. Come on now, questions and answers. Is my Polish partner still here? Cosmetech, come on. I need to hear some more stuff, some more talk dirty to me. Come on. Type. Our fearless leader, Steve. Decoy, clip it. Clip it. I did it, clip it. He's on a pee break. Come on in. What's everybody's thoughts on adults that can't be adults? I've had a few experiences in the past couple days where, I've been attacked or threatened and defended myself, and there's some people that apparently got butthurt over it. Even people that got butthurt over it are the same people that I went to defend previously and during that conversation. Is that weird? Does anybody else find that weird? Are there any games coming out that you are aware of that you might be interested in playing, either for your stream or really no. Just because most games nowadays are copy paste. I was gifted a game the other day called Ready or Not that I am very much interested in playing, and the person that bought it, well, okay. So the person that gifted it to me, I messaged yesterday and said I was playing the game as like a dry run, just to know what the hell I was doing. I wanted to know the button. I could definitely make that something that I put on my channel. Not a very big fan of how the AI react in that game. You tell them to do something, it takes them about 45 seconds to do what you said. But I could definitely see that being something. I do want to play it. I understand a lot of the people here in the squad have the game, and I really want to play it because I've been harassed, but jokingly harassed for the past month. When am I going to get it? When am I going to get it? And I'm like, I don't know. I got to look into the game first. I'm not just going to buy something that I might not like. And then, here I am now. I'd love to get it. In terms of a game, like, man, we all know the GTA 6 story by now, I think. I think the entire world knows that story. But if you're a Rockstar, if you buy Rockstar games, you know what you're getting into immediately. Rockstar has never, ever, ever put a game out on time.
Nope.
GTA 5 came out in 2013. That's 12 years ago. You people using iPhones would have been using the damn iPhone 4 at that point or something like that. What are they up to now? The iPhone 75? They come out with one or two a year.
Yeah, it's about as bad as Motorola too, or Samsung. It used to be a battle who's going to have the latest one.
But to be fair, I'm not even looking forward to the new GTA. only because they put out a video that had, a recorded on a PlayStation type deal or whatever it was at the end. So that's
Yeah.
to lead me to believe that it was recorded on a console, which I don't believe, because I know how multi-million-dollar companies can edit and make their videos look a whole lot better. So
Yeah,
I don't think that's not what it's not gonna. First off, if a PS5 can play it, they're full of shit, because they've already said that this generation's computer will not be able to handle it. That you're pretty much going to have to have the newest chip cards or chipsets and the newest graphics card when it comes out, because they're constantly evolving the game. So if a GTA or if a PS5 can handle it now, the graphics aren't as good as you think they should be, because in a year from now they're going to upgrade and it's going to get better, and you're not going to be able to play it anyway.
Yeah,
And
it's
I believe yesterday on Two Drunks, BB said it perfectly. When it comes out on console, it's still going to be a year after that till we get it on PC.
yeah, it's still a pipe dream, and it probably will be for a while. And it's because, like you said, who can trust Rockstar to deliver? I mean, so they literally just gave us GTA 5 enhanced. Okay, so
Yeah, but what the hell is that? What does that even mean? I have it because they give it to me automatically, but what does that mean?
so the enhanced is literally the same as what they did for GTA 5 for the consoles. They had the one for the Xbox 360 and the first go for the Xbox One. So it's like enhanced graphics, enhanced audio, enhanced this. And there's so it's kind of a pacifier to what they're doing to get people ready for GTA 6. When I say ready, ready to crack open your wallet, to keep paying for GTA Online and all that. So
You remember when they built games that were single player based? Like it was meant to be for single player, but they had the multiplayer option. So
yeah,
like you'd have to play the single player to unlock certain weapons or certain things that you could use in multiplayer. Now games are coming out and they are just multiplayer. That's the focus. They don't even put a single player in it.
yeah.
Why can't games like GTA and Call of Duty and all those games just market the game as Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty, and then every new game be an expansion? You just pay $10, $15, whatever it is, $20 for the expansion.
They did that. I used to play Duke Nukem way back in the mid 90s. And, I bought Duke Nukem, then I bought Duke Nukem. There was like 3 or 4 different DLCs that we had to wait like a year to year and a half for them to come out and get the floppy or the CD in order to load it. And so I've got like Duke Nukem, Duke It Out in DC. That was the last one. I think that one came out in 2000. But it's single player, but like in the third update, that you could go out to a BBS before the internet and download a file, it would turn it into multiplayer. And back then, we didn't have just single Ethernet. We had token rings, so we had BNC connections, terminators, and everything else. And it was a pain in the ass even to get put together to get a 2 PCs to talk to each other to play a stupid game. Um, what we wound up in the process of doing is using a program called QModem and using LapLink, which is they call it LapLink. It was not for like sitting on your lap, but for laptop ports or parallel port connections between the 2 computers that would actually talk. And you'd use QModem, fire up the communication between one computer and the other to make that actual connection. Then they saw it as a LAN, and you could play 2 people at one time. You couldn't play
like,
more than 2.
But with the GTA or the Call of Duty thing, right? Like they could community base that. Even Battlefield, for instance, could community base that.
Oh yeah.
Buy the title. You're buying the title. Now, when GTA 6 comes out, you could get that title at a reduced price. What that's doing is it's enhancing the developer's pocketbook because more people are buying it. Look at EA Play. Go on Steam. Look up EA Play.
Yeah.
You spend $20, whatever it is, a year or something like that. It's not much at all. But you have access to play all of these games at EA titles for free for that entire time frame.
Yeah,
They could do something like that.
EA Play is actually part of Xbox Ultimate also. So if you have Xbox Ultimate, they geared up with EA to give you EA Play for free. So for $29 a month, I get all the Xbox games on my PC that are compatible and EA games too.
It stays in line with where we're going in the streaming era, right? Because
yeah,
you have like, you go buy Peacock. You could watch sports, live wrestling pay-per-views. Well, what are they? I don't know what they're called now. PLEs, premium live events. But
yeah,
you used to spend $60 on a pay-per-view a month. Now you could spend $20. Get that pay-per-view plus whatever else you want to watch. Like if they bundled all their content, if all the developers are like, you know what, we're just going to create our own streaming content, our own big bundle, and you buy the Rockstar bundle, you could play for this year. You could download GTA 5 and play it for free. The amount of money they're going to make is going to probably double that they would do on individual releases. Because to be fair, most people are not buying hard copies, and if they do buy a hard copy, they're paying full price unless they find they wait till a holiday sale on Steam to get it for 20%, 30% off.
Yeah. Because let's see, the last game that I saw that you could physically buy in a store. Okay. The last game I saw that you could physically buy in a store was like Planet Coaster, but you got the nice, packaging and everything. You took it home, you opened it up, and you was expecting to see a CD-ROM or DVD or something. Nope. It was a little tiny card on the inside with a number that says, go to Steam and put this number in. It's like, why would I go and buy a card that I could just literally go to Steam and do the same thing right there on Steam? It just blows my mind on everything that, so like on my computer, I actually have a Blu-ray drive on my computer, but it's not in my computer, it's USB. And that way, if I want to watch one of my thousands of movies on DVD, I can still watch it without having to go out and buy a DVD player. It's right there, but majority of my movies are all digitized and put on a NAS server so I can watch them anytime I want. The problem is, we're losing touch with the physical media of doing stuff, but in a way we're going back to it again, because go to Walmart, go to Target, go to Kohl's, and if you look in the audio section or the electronics, you're going to start seeing more and more vinyl show back up. And it's not like it was when you went to like Sun Records or wherever and bought a LP back in the day before cassette and CD knocked them out, of like $12 or $15 for an LP. You're talking, though, I saw AC/DC Back in Black, okay, remastered on LPs, nothing fancy, just what it looked like back in the day, they wanted $39 for vinyl. Don't get me wrong, vinyl has that unique sound, but it also has the wow factor where you wow, wow, wow. And the reason why is because they can't push a whole perfect in it. Plus the if you have a belt drive compared to a linear drive, you can never get it directly tuned to 33 and a third RPM or 45 or 78 or anything down that line. So you're going to have fluctuations in the actual sound. But that's part of the experience of it. And if you're not using the right stylus for a 33 and a third RPM record compared to a 45 or a 78, um, you're going to destroy your record every time you play it. Even if
I
you,
honestly, I think that has a lot to do though, Decoy. I think that has a lot to do with the nostalgia factor.
yeah, it
Right?
does.
Like, imagine right now if you and I went into a garage and we reconstructed the 8-track player, and then we started taking all these modern CDs and put them on 8-tracks.
Yep.
Right? We're gonna have to charge more. It's not because it's probably the technology to do it is going to be a lot simpler than what they're building now. But it's going to be the nostalgia factor. It's going to be, I have this thing that looks like what something that looked like in the 70s and 60s.
Yeah.
Right? It's that's all it is people, you're not anymore. You pay for the name, you don't pay for the product. Because do yourself a favor and flip over that container or whatever you're buying and see what the distributor is. It's probably something that you can go buy cheaper or more expensive. You know, it's the distributor sets the price based off the name brand that they put on it, which they own the brand. So, and I have seen it too because there's end caps at our Walmart with vinyl in them. And you look at it and go, wow, why are these even, who the hell's even getting these? And you look at the price and you go, well, clearly not me. Because why would I want to pay, $25, $35 for a vinyl, even if I had a player at home?
Yeah.
When I could just go on YouTube and listen to the song for free.
I mean, some of it, like I said, it's still the audio quality because you have to know if anybody ever tells you that a record is digital, they're so full of shit. Because you literally have two grooves and a little needle in there, and that says nothing more than analog all the way. Yes, I understand the argument from today's kids. I say kids because they see a record player with a USB plug and they plug it in and they say it's digital. No, it has a DAC in the actual record player. And if you don't know, a DAC is digital to analog converter. Um, and I totally get it because my favorite audio source is reel to reel. And I'm not talking about 7 1/4. I'm talking like 30. I think it's 30 and 1/3 inch. I mean, we're talking the huge platters. I used to have two of the decks and get the best audio. The faster the moving of the tape, the better the audio sounding. You get more of a studio recording than you do from a 15 1/4 to or 7 1/2. So,
Audio compression existed back then too, right?
oh
Like
yeah.
that's the moral is if you're gonna listen to something, um, I used to have fun with because like I said the other day we had an 8-track and vinyl player, big floor unit that sat in my house. I used to have fun playing with my parents didn't find it funny at all because it was their money.
Nope. Yep.
But I used to have fun just scratching that needle right across that record just to hear the noise that it made. you know, now as an adult, you think about it and you go, you know, first off, every time you play a vinyl, you're ruining it every time.
Yeah.
And it gets worse and worse and worse and worse over time. Here I was, this smug ass little prick, just scratching a needle right across it. Yep. And then you look back at a DJ, right? Like where they're the old DJs when they would scratch the vinyls on purpose just to make that sound.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But they had the money to buy it. And most of the time those vinyls were probably given to them by a record label that they were working for.
No, half those scratching records were like records that they would just go to a thrift store and just pick up because somebody donated them. They didn't care what the actual audio was because you never really heard the audio for a scratching record. It was just the full scratching of a record. They would sit there and listen and find one that kind of sounded good with a scratch and kept going with it until they literally destroyed what was left of the record, which, I mean, you're scratching it, so you're not really making it sound better or making it sound worse. And I mean, if you put a 78 RPM needle in, you're going to get a better scratch sound because the needle's wider than a 33 or a 45. And it's all because of how wide the actual physical audio tracks are on each of the actual formats.
Oh yeah, because you could look at a vinyl and you could see the grooves, and some grooves were closer, some weren't, depending on how many songs were on it. Also, I feel like a lot of people that don't know what a vinyl is should just go get one and look at it.
Yeah,
and understand how what you listen to today that's on the internet, understand where that come from. Go get an 8-track. Find an old 8-track player. You know, people will say 8-track, they're old. No, there's the same people that were playing Ataris, and it's basically the same concept, right? Like it's the same Nintendo, same concept. It was something inside of a cartridge that you had to jam into something and play it.
Yeah.
And the 8-track gave birth to the cassette, which gave birth to the CD. But all of that came from a primitive standpoint of, okay, we have a piece of paper. Let's make it round. Let's write the songs in a circle. And then let's just have a way for vibrations to make that happen and come through a speaker.
Yeah. Because if you keep mentioning 8-tracks, and it's hilarious. Because what 8-track is actually 4-channel reel-to-reel. That's literally all it is. Same diameter of tape, everything. It's just, you know, you have 4 independent channels. You can literally take an 8-track, cut the splice at the silver, because that's what it tells it to move from one track to the other. And if you have a 4-track reel-to-reel, you can actually hear 2 of the actual tracks of the actual 8-track. So you can't hear it all because the heads don't line up just perfectly. But it's literally the same format behind it, and it's just a continuous, endless loop of a tape.
But what was the technology? What did people go when the 8-track came out? Right? People were like, "Oh my God, this is huge! This is going to change the music industry." And then it was the same way when you went from Nintendo to Sega, all them cartridges, the cartridge loads games. When they said, "Here's a CD that you can put in your PlayStation or your what the hell was that game console called? The 3DO, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was the PlayStation before Sony bought it. It was called a 3DO. It was like revolutionary until you realized that the discs work fine. The eyes didn't, because the ribbons would always get jammed up. So there's always that issue. But like when you had like cassettes and 8-tracks, if you had a cassette problem, you pull it out, you get a pencil, you stick it in there, and you wind it up, and it's back to normal.
Yeah. 8-tracks, you could get a good, if you could get a good chunk on that spin, you could normally suck that 8-track back up in there too.
Yeah, but if something went wrong with your PlayStation or whatever it is that was reading it by an eye, if that eye went bad, that disc is still great, but now you got to spend twice as much as that disc cost just to replace that eye. So, like, technology, while it's getting more convenient, it's not getting cheaper.
No.
At all.
But I mean, yeah, so our technology is a love-hate relationship. because, like you said, our technology gets better, but there's sacrifices along the way. Uh, I mean, I've got like an old iPad Pro that I use to run the actual streams and everything else. So it's good, but I've got spots now on my iPad from where I constantly keep hitting the same button over and over and over again. And I've got marks and things that will not go away from the display. It shouldn't do that because I'm just tapping glass, but the screen underneath of it is starting to degrade.
It's absorbing the oils from your skin, and it's basically screen burning your.
Yeah.
It's the same with a cell phone. Like, I have a screen protector on my cell phone. I change it once a year. Like, even if there's nothing wrong with it, I still change it once a year.
Mhm.
And when you pull that off, no matter how much alcohol wipes you have, you can still see where your fingers touch.
Yeah,
Just because the oils
or get a little
or
speck of
scratches.
dust.
Yep. The
Yeah, I got
the
like
screen
two
protectors
areas
aren't perfect,
dust.
and you'll
Yeah.
never get rid of them. Grab
No.
some alcohol pads, just wipe the hell. You'll break your phone before you get rid of those.
Oh yeah.
And that's not by accident. That's by design, because that means then you have to buy a new one.
Hmm.
I know a bunch of old people out here where I live that they're like stuck in their ways. They're still driving around in the tank cars.
Oh yeah.
Right? They don't get very good miles per hour or miles per gallon because the car's so heavy. But you don't want to get in a wreck with them because
No.
you're probably going to lose. Little fiberglass piece of crap that you're driving around in is going to get crinkled up by that steel boat driving down the road.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a friend of mine had a old red Plymouth, and he was saying that he wouldn't give up this tank for anything, and he was a big CBer. He had a 102-inch whip running off the back of his bumper and everything. He had the thicker coaxial wire running up to the foot warmer and everything for his CB. And I just walked up one day and I just kicked the back of his bumper. And I said, yep, they don't make cars like this anymore. And then
No,
all of a sudden, the bumper completely fell off the car. And the only thing holding it up off the ground was that coaxial cable.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's just old age, right? We all fall apart at old age. But
Oh yeah.
there's a guy right down the road. He has an old Etzel. I know you know what an Etzel is. Everybody remembers the grill. Like, anybody old enough can tell you the grill of an Etzel,
Yep.
what it looked like. It was. He said he could find parts for this car all over the place. But when the grill of his car went, like, where he wanted to replace it, he could not find an Etzel grill anywhere. That the only way he could get one is to have it made for him at a CNC machine. And at that point, then it was too heavy anyway. It was like, I mean, he still used it, right? Because it's the only way he could get it to fit. But certain things you can't find, and that's why shit's gone away. That's why we're down to things being built so cheap, but they still charge you so much money for them. Is you're not paying for the quality anymore. You're paying for the name, and you're paying for that touchscreen display you have in your center console that makes you think you're driving a spaceship.
Yeah. A lot of those older cars, it's going to be getting a lot harder to find bits and pieces for them because I've seen, well, like TTC Auto Ranch in Denton, Texas. After 60 years, they're calling it quits. No more. So they decided to call in the car crushers. And I mean, they're crushing, thousands upon thousands of cars. They've been out there for like the last 2 weeks crushing nonstop. So it's gonna make everything even harder to find parts for those cars.
Well, yeah, and that's the airplane thing too, right? Like, because what we have, I think it was January, it might have been February. it was brought up about, when our aircraft for our military needs to be fixed, the
Mhm.
cost that it takes to fix these things. And there was a congressional hearing about it, and they're like, you know how much it costs for a bag full of these washers that go on these planes? And it's like, well, the government gets charged so many thousands of dollars for these bags.
Yep.
And the guy pulled a bag out and sat it on the table. He's like, same bag, same material, same product number, $25.99 at AutoZone.
Mhm.
Like, why are we as a government paying because we're getting it straight from the factory? But why is that any cheap? Like, why is that more expensive? Because wholesale should be cheaper. Why can you go to the
It's
grocery store and buy the same shit that's on a military spacecraft cheaper than the military is buying it for? That shouldn't be a thing.
yeah, because they can't do anything unless there's a contract, and contract have rates and everything else. And yeah, because uh, they were upset. That I remember they were also upset back in the early 2000s. The Navy was having to buy a certain hammer, which was just a regular ball peen hammer, and they were being double charged, triple charged what you could go to Walmart and buy the exact same hammer for. And it's like there's a lot of stink over that also. But things won't change because they've got to have a paper trail of where they bought it, who they bought it from, and how many they got, and everything else. And it's just
If anybody in this world should get a discount, it should be the government, regardless of what government it is, whether it's the United States government, the Russian government. If they're buying something, it should be already a discounted price. Because to me, my brain would say, oh, okay, Decoy, you own this nut and bolt making company. Let me buy those nuts and bolts from you cheaper than you're selling it to whatever distributors you're selling it to. And I'll give you this much of a tax break per year. Right? If
yeah,
I was the government, I would try to get the best quality as cheap as possible, because if God forbid something were to happen, your ass is going to depend on them nuts and bolts just as much as I am.
oh
Right?
yeah,
Like, you're going to hope Buddy can hop in that plane and that plane takes off. So why do we charge so much for something that's so important, or why do we allow ourselves as people to get screwed over like that? Just when he put that bag on that table and said what he said, I was like, there's no way. You got to be lying. I know all politicians are liars, but I didn't think that he was for real, and he was for real. Like,
oh yeah,
he could physically go buy a whole bag of them that cost the government thousands of dollars, and he bought it for $25.
yeah. And that's what's sad about it is there are people that should not really be in there. I remember another congressman that was bringing up a point about the population of Guam. Okay, everybody knows what Guam is, right? It's a U.S. territory. It's the smallest, one of the smallest islands that we actually have as a territory. Uh, a congressman from I think it was Georgia or North Carolina, one of the two, was questioning a Navy admiral on about sending over 50,000 members of the Navy to Guam and their families, thinking that the island was going to capsize because of the extra people on the island.
Huh? Yeah, because
Let that
land just
think.
randomly flips over. Yeah, just an island is just going to flip over because there's too much weight on one side.
Oh no, because there's too many seamen on the island.
That's that. Do they know? Have they ever heard of science? Like, that's not a thing. You can't just, unless you're standing on an island the size of a pallet, you're not going to tip it over by putting too many people on one
No,
side of it.
no, you're not. You're right.
Unless you
Eh,
got like the fattest people that you could possibly fit, and then still you would need like it would be impossible.
no, yeah. So I mean, yeah, remember these are elected officials that are thinking that the island's going to capsize because we're sending people there to maintain, our naval fleet from there.
What do you think of those two news stories that happened today? The one where Hamas is going to release the last surviving American hostage, um, and then the other one where they came out and said that the U.S. and China actually reached a trade deal. They didn't release the details of it. That'll probably be released in the coming days, whenever probably Tuesday or something like. Oh, Tuesday is when the hostage is getting released, I think, because that's when Trump lands in what's the stand. I don't know where he's going, but he's going somewhere over there in the Middle East.
Yeah,
So it's probably going to be tomorrow or the day after. So tomorrow or Tuesday that they actually release the deals of the deal they made with China, which I'm intrigued because they were saying on the news that if the deal with China is to be anything, it should be the deal we made with the United Kingdom should be the benchmark. So are we actually going to get fair trade here, or is this going to work, or
yes,
like
I don't know.
we've collapsed their economy?
Yeah, see, I don't know about the Hamas. I mean, I haven't been paying any attention to that, but going back to like the trade, people have been starting to show panicking in toilet paper again because of quote unquote the tariffs. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Charmin is a U.S. company. They make toilet paper here in America. There is no tariff on the toilet paper. Oh, we get the wood and everything. They get the paper and everything from China. So wait. So you're saying that we ship our lumber to China and then buy it back in order to make toilet paper?
Well, these are idiots. That's the problem, Decoy. They're idiots. They don't understand how movement works. All right, like clearly, there would be no need for a toilet paper pan. If that's the case, then why isn't there a panic on paper towels? Why isn't there
There
a paper plates?
that's
It's all the
there
same market.
is. Believe it or not, I've seen signs starting to show back up in the big warehouse clubs, one per person again for paper plates, paper towels, toilet paper, napkins, and everything else because somebody somewhere's got the wild bug up their butt that it's gonna be the big C shopping spree again. And it's like,
Which is weird because our economy is getting better per capita,
mhm.
and China's just collapsing.
Oh yeah,
So how is there a panic? Like all of a sudden, the only industry China has is toilet paper? You know what I mean? Like these people are out of their damn mind if they think that. It's just another one of those fear mongering things. Like obviously I get it whenever COVID hit.
yeah,
Everybody run, grab everything you can, like it's the hurricane that's never gonna end. You just gotta get all the shit you can get and bring it home. But nobody that has ever paid attention to how much a dollar's worth or even, I don't know, went to the store is gonna realize that that's not ever gonna be a problem. Unless if China collapses, the world falls apart, which will never happen because China is not even an economic superpower. They're a military superpower, but they're not an economic superpower. The
yeah.
only thing that makes China anything special is the fact they steal all of our ideas, change the name, and build it there and sell it back to us cheaper because we're too stupid to know the difference.
Yeah. So I mean that kind of brings up another point. It's like, do you remember back in the early 2000s when they had the mad cow scare?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So did we have a major increase in the price of milk when that happened?
Well, no, there was no increase in beef or milk prices. It was
Right.
because it's domestic. The disease was
Oh,
found elsewhere, but because they spread it internationally, people go, "Oh, well, I can't eat beef because I might get mad cow disease." Well, no. It's the same as here 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't know if you remember it, if it affected your area, but they put out this thing about deer having this bacteria. And they even thought about canceling hunting season that year because these deer that they were testing had this certain bacteria in them that could kill you or get you sick or whatever the case may be. That was a domestic thing. But obviously all of our meat and all of our dairy has to go through testing. And if they find it, then it's done.
Yeah.
You know, that people jump the gun because they hear something like, okay, well, there's the bird flu. Well, I can't have chicken, I can't have turkey, I can't have quail. No, you can. Yes, absolutely you can.
Yeah.
People get crazy.
I mean, yeah, it kind of gets blown a lot out of proportion, and it's getting to the point to where this last one, I mean, they killed off all the certain chickens and everything else that might have not had, but might have had the last bird flu strain or whatever. And so that's what made the cost of eggs, skyrocket and everything else.
So, you know,
Well,
I mean, you weren't, none of us were alive for this, but you know the story of the Australian war against the emus, right? Like they're the only country to go against to declare war against an animal because the emus like overran the entire land, so they were just like go kill them.
mhm.
Why, since COVID, have we not tried to make the bat extinct? Since we know that that's where it came from, it originated from a bat. Why are we letting the bat live? Because it was blown out of proportion and some
Oh yeah,
goofball in a lab made it, you know, but we're over COVID already. Now we're going to talk about the next stupid thing that we can blow out of proportion, which
yeah.
is going to be whatever it is today, right? So I don't know. People, I called COVID the human paranoia virus, and I think since then there has been like that lingering side effect of the human paranoia virus. Everybody's scared of their own shadow. They think a fart's a shit. They don't know what to do no more. It's
Well,
it's it's crazy.
it's funny. I still see people driving in their cars with a mask on, and they're the only person in the car.
And I honestly, most people from 20 years old and down, I don't even listen to half the shit they say because most of the time I already know they're not, this is going to sound bad, but they're not educationally equipped to have a conversation
No,
because they spent the past 5 years sitting at home playing Xbox.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they're just not educationally equipped. They haven't had that. So if like people that are in their early 20s down, to me they don't have a social opinion. They have a voice, but it don't matter to me because they don't know what it is to do things.
yeah.
They're the same group that are standing up saying that I'm allowed to walk around with 17 colors hair and wear a tail and pee in a litter box. Like that's the society that COVID raised.
Yeah. And if they don't know the answer, they're gonna chat GPT it.
Yeah, and then they're gonna get on one of those. I don't have no friends, so I'm gonna have this texting app text me, and then the texting app's gonna say something bad, and they're gonna kill themselves. That's already happened.
No, yeah. And I
It's
mean,
hilarious to me that we're as a to think that we came from the primitive, the caveman, and me make fire, to we built rockets that go to the moon, and people have walked on the moon. To now we're going back to where we're going to be tadpoles here for too long. Like we're getting
uh,
stupider and stupider and stupider as we go.
well, they always say history repeats itself, and so I have a feeling it's the same for the evolution of man.
Thank God I'm going to be dead before that happens.
Yeah, yeah. We don't live like Moses, thank God. I don't want to live for
I don't.
900 years.
There ain't no way I can stand doing that. Like people that get offended by the simplest thing, to me, that's hilarious. I love that because in a real, especially on the internet, that just tells me that in person you're in trouble in an argument in a real life situation. Like you're not. People aren't equipped to do that anymore.
No,
We have the
you,
keyboard gangsters, the keyboard warriors, but nobody's really. And then when you defend somebody, when you go to bat for somebody, all throughout an argument, and then they still get butthurt that somebody might have offended them a little bit. I'm not there. There's a certain person, you may have heard the story. I will not defend or help this person ever again. That is, I put that on my mother and father's grave.
Mhm.
Will get no help from me ever again. That's just how, like, sometimes you got to know which bridges to burn and which ones you cross.
Yeah.
And I went to bat for him 2 or 3 times,
Mhm.
and he shit on me. He shit on me in a conversation. Well, not even to me. He didn't have enough guts to even say it to me. He messaged somebody else about it who came to me about it. So I'm sure he's either listening or he's going to listen to this. But don't ever ask me for a single thing. Don't ask my opinion. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to intentionally steer you the wrong way. And P.S. And don't use the image I sent you that you asked for. You don't have my permission to use that. And just so you know, it's the like, subscribe thing. Yeah. Since I
So
sent
this
it to him.
Oh, so this is recent. Oh, okay. I thought you was referring to somebody else.
No, this is within the past 48 hours.
Oh, even better. I have a feeling that may be coming up on your unfiltered.
Oh yeah, unfiltered is definitely getting brought up. Whether or
Speaking of like
not
and subscribe.
I'm supposed to or not, I'm still going to bring it up. I got threatened with defamation of character. We went live again. That live has since been pulled down.
Is this the 4:30 in the morning? I gotta get my ass to
Yes.
bed. Okay.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
have a
this is
little.
just
I have a little bit of understanding behind that one.
this is just the other day. There were some things said by people that should know better, and said some things that shouldn't have been said, that provoked a problem that myself and another individual tried to remedy, which led to me really defending myself because I was attacked, which led to getting kicked out of a Discord, which, hey, I don't really care.
We kind of find that as entertainment, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Seeing how
And
fast we
buddy's
get
like,
kicked out of Discords.
he said to me, before he kicked me out, he said he used the defamation of character. I said, go ahead. Go for it, because clearly you don't know what you're talking about. All the while, I'm defending 2 other squad or people that are in the squad Discord. And then those people messaged somebody else and said that I went too far in defending them. I won't do it again. I will not defend you again. I'll promise you that.
Yeah, I kind of heard a little bit about that before the Two Drunks because I was trying to figure out some of the messages that were being said in there towards the end of that because to me they were a little cryptic. I was trying to figure it out, but hey, I was like, half asleep and I was sitting there trying to get caught up on it before the video got pulled down.
Yeah, no.
But so yeah, I kind of know the gist of that one, but I definitely think that would definitely be one that I know you're gonna be bringing up Friday.
Yep,
So
Friday 8 p.m. CST, 9 p.m. EST, right here on Squad Productions.
yep. And we're running at 2 hours, over 2 hours already. Good gravy, Charlie Brown. I didn't even think I was gonna be able to get 30 minutes tonight. Talking about bugs.
I'm gonna stop listening to your podcast because you always throw some shit in there about movies and bring me in.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with talking about movies and books. Well,
Yeah.
I should say audio books. Let me state that out there. My cross eyes, I can't read a book anymore.
Oh, see, you just said that. Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that. He can no longer attack BB. Let's make that a thing.
No, I've got 2 eyes still. I don't have one. I have 2. What's the difference? My eyes get crossed.
Jeepers creepers.
I still
No,
I still have to pay full price to get glasses. I don't get the one off discount.
I'm a brand guy, man. I try to pop in when I can if I know I'm free. I try to do what I can to help out. You know, I don't wing it. I don't throw the towel in, call off,
Yeah.
and
Well, that's like tonight is like I literally was scouring and looking for, good articles, and it's like I literally could not find anything good to talk about. Everything was politics this, politics that, politics this, politics that, or Pope, 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 Pope. And it's like, okay. I think we took the Pope and we, beat the dead horse into the ground on that. I mean, now that everything is over and everything, that should settle down.
oh well, you don't want to talk. If you don't want to talk about politics, join Awesome Gaming. You want a link to their Discord? I heard you're not allowed to even mention anybody's name over there.
I heard that
Shots fired.
I heard that you said the volcano word and set them on fire.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Like I don't
The-
understand even what happened, man. Like I was defending people, and I said, I don't care about Orange Man's good and bad. I don't care. And this dude had enough balls to send me a message that said, "Please read Rule 1.d. No politics, as this is a place to relax from the everyday stress of life." Meanwhile,
wait.
I'm defending other squad members in the damn Discord, but it's supposed to be a stress-free area. But he,
So wait, okay. So
it's bad
that's
enough they got
interesting.
their shit. They got their rules broke down into sections on top of sections, and it's a Discord with well, let me tell you how many people are there. It ain't many. The fact that they have that many damn rules. So there's 14 online right now out of 39. Which I mean is moderate. It's good.
Yeah.
But to have like a break your rules down that far, like
So that's interesting because I mean, we talk politics here, but it's not deep, hardcore politics or anything like that. It's easy going, and and we don't do it to bash anybody. I mean, I don't care if you're, for them or against them or, want somebody else. It's up to you. Politics are your own business. If you want to talk some, go ahead.
yeah, and literally what got me the warning was I just used the word MAGA. Like I said it one time and he lost his shit. And then that's when afterwards I was like, dude, I'm not saying it to defend the guy, where I'm not, and I even said I don't care. They're both a bunch of liars, right? Like all politicians are liars. Both sides are stupid. And he just, I don't know. I'd say he got excited and got a boner and just felt like attacking me. I don't know if he knew who he was attacking.
Probably not.
But next thing I know, I'm kicked out of a Discord, and I'm like, all right, well, cool. And then we came over to the squad, and I'm like, anybody that can associate with that guy, don't ever talk to me again.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I got a message saying that two people, messaged somebody else that I went too far by defending them. So I'm not helping them no more. They're on their own.
Oh, speaking of going too far and getting banned, did you see the latest news from Activision?
Oh yeah, the whole Call of Duty thing.
Yeah.
Like the tea bag. Yeah, I was covering that kind of whenever you went to take a piss or whatever it is you went to do.
Oh, were you? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a little too much water tonight, literally. Um, but yeah, it's like, wait a minute. How can you ban the number one culture item of Call of Duty?
You can't. Like you're celebrating. If I kill somebody in a video game, I'm going to celebrate. You want me to just raise my gun in the air and shoot it like a terrorist? Is that okay though?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Microsoft owns it, and they're trying to get it more kid friendly. But I'm sorry, any shoot 'em game where you've got people killing people is not a kid game. Plain and
Well, then
simple.
then ban 12-year-olds from playing Call of Duty because they're more toxic than a teabag.
Exactly. And you've already heard my song I made about going against them, the troll song.
Yeah, yeah. No, I encourage everybody that has Call of Duty or any Activision game that's a multiplayer, go get banned because
Oh
they
yeah,
can't afford it. They can't afford it.
no,
That's
because
that's some like somebody in their office is making rules that is offended by it and don't care what the customer base thinks. They just don't want to see it no more, so they'll make a rule.
I mean, let's put it this way: Activision was in such a dire need of a bailout, they had to have Microsoft buy them anyway. I mean, what other okay, off the top of your head, what other Activision game can you mention or know of?
I mean, right off the top of my head, none. Like I'm sure if I sat and thought about it, I can come up with a couple because they've had a couple good ones, but you can't make a rule like that. Like that's not
No.
even you're telling me that I'm not allowed to push buttons on my controller or my keyboard? Is that what you're telling me? I'm not allowed to use the features you put in the game like crouching? I'm not allowed to do that? Seems a little
Yeah.
weird to me.
Let's see. Looking up so just looking up Activision games, Call of Duty, Warzone, Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare, everything keeps pointing back just to Call of Duty and everything else. So just in the last 25 years, uh, everything. So they have Call of Duty Warzone, Modern Warfare 2 remastered. So
And
okay,
they're all
here
the same game. They're all the same game with a different name.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Oh my god, that was back in the 90s.
No, that was 2020.
Oh,
Um,
I will be back in like 5 or so minutes. I'm getting a phone call right now. I'll be right back.
okay. So yeah, these are all it looks like they had another they keep re-releasing the same ones that are outside of Call of Duty. But scrolling through the list, it's like only Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Call of Duty. That's the only two games from 2020 to the present from Activision. Let's go back between the previous year. So you had Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Build-A-Bear Workshop. Ooh, wow, okay. Welcome to Hugsville. How to Train Your Dragon. Interesting. So, I mean, they had more down the lines, but it's still like, oh, got Guitar Hero. Like, that didn't last too long. They started doing the Tony Hawk in 2010. Goldeneye. Okay, so they had Goldeneye. Then they started doing the Black Ops but I remember me personally growing up the good days of Activision when Activision was Activision and they actually had games. I mean, games I remember. Um, give me 1 minute. Let me look through the list here because it's been a while. It's like I can't remember all these games off the top of my head. Uh, where was it? Well, they did have Doom. That they bought ID software to get Doom. Uh, I'm gonna have to go back further than the 90s. It looks like 80s to the 99. This is active. Well, Activision. A lot of these were on the Atari games. I do remember a lot of the Atari ones. Getting towards the end of it, like the Ghostbusters. I remember playing Ghostbusters. Didn't have Predator, but a lot of these were MS DOS based. So, this is before even Windows was around. You had to work to get a game to play. we're talking you had to modify your config.sys and your autoexec.bat, and things had to be in exact order because when you loaded it into memory, you loaded it into memory. It was extremely hard. Like A10 but I do remember that one. That was a good aircraft game back in the day. But yeah, I mean, you hear Activision now, and it's literally nothing but pure um, Call of Duty and Tony Hawk. So if you're going to ban, uh, Activision took a lot of risks with the new games and fell back to what games thought were best and redid the same game over and over again. Yes, but Activision Retro and even PS2 days was where the prime was. Yes. And not only that, but their prime also was back in the Atari 2600 days. I mean, the cartridges, I mean, Pitfall. Pitfall was a damn good game back in the day. I mean, I remember playing hours in front of the TV with the little joystick doing Pitfall. Uh, but if you're going to ban people from doing uh, teabagging, and I forgot what the other one was. It was sent to me in a text. Give me here. Uh, Didion. Uh, it's like that's a new one, I guess, which is excessive or taunting movements after eliminating mental harass or humility. Well, I mean, can we do that retroly? I mean, hell, I remember way back in 2017, or even actually before that, like 2014, people doing all that to me. Can we go back on the Xbox and just start banning all those accounts? Or do you want to lose that money too? Or how does that work? I mean, there's things you got to take into consideration, Microsoft, because you start banning these people, you're gonna lose out $25 a month for Ultimate, for people playing on their Xbox, and because this can be a paperweight. I mean, the choice is yours. It's okay to try to get rid of the stuff, but they already allowed to happen. Yep. Yeah, back in the day when I was a member of the Xbox ambassadors, and also it was like the Xbox enforcement team, but I wasn't part of Microsoft. I was part of a separate group to where we volunteered our time to look at names, um, like usernames, and read random snippets of comments. Um, and so we wouldn't know who or what we were getting. Like all we would get is like um, and it would come to a message like um, what do you is this person's name legit or not legit? And we would say yes or no. And if we said no, then it got flagged, went to Microsoft, and then at that time, Steptoe and his group would review it and make a determination if it was needs to be flagged at their level or not. And the same thing would be with comments, because there's back then they were trying to keep the spam and the hate down in the Xbox environment. So we wouldn't get the full message, or we would get just one side of a conversation, but we wouldn't get the full chain. So and if it was something that needed to be looked at, then we could pass it on to Microsoft at that point. But I haven't been a member of those in over almost 10 years. It's been a long time. But I know Hammy said he may be back, but to be honest with you, I am actually running right at 2.5 hours. So I do believe I'm going to go ahead and flip off the porch light, and we're going to go ahead and call it a night here on the front porch. I do want to thank Hammy for joining us in, and Nick earlier, and having Tall Ass Hunter in the chat with Tater. We had Cosmetech in there, Hammy in there, we had Polly in, and Nick all in the live chat tonight. I do want to thank you all for there, and make sure to like, subscribe, and to click the bell notification to catch all of us over here at SWAT Productions. Not only for the front porch, but also for the Unfiltered, Two Drunks in a Bottle, Mysteries of the Underworld, and Aftermath, and I feel like I'm forgetting one or two. What am I forgetting? Oh yeah, we have SWATcast too. I keep forgetting about that one. So until next week, we will go ahead and we will catch you out on the street.
On the front porch, just killing time, talking about life with a sip of moonshine. Decoy's the host, he sets the scene with a crew of voices. The porch ain't serene. Pull up a chair, let the story spin. From BB to Boogie, let the jokes begin. Timmy's laughing, Tater grins wide, and poor old Paulie, he's the butt of the ride. Nick's got tales that'll make you wanna stay. Ace plays it cool in that laid-back way. The breeze rolls in with a Tennessee tune as the stars peek out by the light of the moon. It's a circle of voices, a homegrown vibe. No need to hustle, just take it in stride. Paulie gets roasted, but it's all in jest. This porch crew's better than all the rest. Pull up a chair, let the story spin. From BB to Boogie, let the jokes begin. Timmy's laughing, Tater grins wide, and poor old Paulie, he's the butt of the ride. Crickets join in with a soft tambourine. The sound of the sticks is pure and serene. Decoy keeps the peace when the teasing gets thick. But look out now, here comes more from Nick. Pull up a chair, let the story spin. From BB to Boogie, let the jokes begin. Timmy's laughing, Tater grins wide, and poor old Paulie, he's the butt of the ride.